In a quiet, secluded town, two brutal murders shook the community. Both victims were doctors from the same prestigious hospital, and the deaths occurred only days apart. The local police were stumped, unable to find any meaningful leads or clues. Detective Min Jun, the head of the homicide division, was called in to investigate. He arrived at the first crime scene with his team, hoping to uncover something that could break the case wide open. But despite their best efforts, they found nothing. As the investigation stalled, Min Jun turned to the coroner for more information. He learned that the killer was likely a left-handed individual with exceptional knife skills. The precision of the cuts suggested that the murders were carried out by someone with extensive training or experience. Min Jun reviewed surveillance footage from the hospital and the surrounding area, but nothing out of the ordinary stood out. No suspicious people, no unusual activity. Desperate for answers, he decided to focus on the hospital, where the victims had worked. Maybe someone there had seen something. At the hospital, Min Jun met Nurse Xiaomei, who had been the last person to see the first victim alive. She seemed cooperative at first, explaining that nothing unusual had happened at night, aside from some casual flirtation between the doctor and herself. But Min Jun noticed something off. Xiaomei appeared nervous, her answers evasive. Was she hiding something? Min Jun couldn't shake the feeling that she knew more than she was letting on. Then, just as Min Jun was getting a sense of the case, another doctor from the same hospital was found murdered. The circumstances were eerily similar to the first case. The killer had struck again. It was clear now that the same person was responsible for both deaths. Forensic analysis revealed more about the killer. They had at least 2.5 years of knife training, and they knew how to handle a blade with the precision of a surgeon. Min Jun also learned that all the victims had been affiliated with the hospital's neurosurgery department. One name kept coming up in connection with the victims: Dr. Kim, the head of the hospital's plastic surgery department. Min Jun decided to dig deeper into Kim's background. As Min Jun investigated, he uncovered an unsettling truth from a decade earlier. 10 years ago, a young woman named Zhu Zhuan had been brought to the hospital with severe injuries after a car accident. Her beauty was instantly captivating, and soon, she became the center of attention for the male doctors. What followed was a shocking scandal. While Zhu Zhuan was in a coma, she was sexually assaulted by 3 doctors, including Dr. Jin, who was her attending physician at the time. Over the years, Zhu Zhuan disappeared from the public eye, but Min Jun discovered that she had reappeared a decade later under a new name, Zhu Shoujian. Now a famous actress, Zhu Shoujian had left behind a trail of rumors and scandal. But there was something much darker beneath the surface. Min Jun began to suspect that her past might have been the key to the murders. Could Zhu Shoujian be seeking revenge? The more Min Jun thought about it, the more it seemed possible. The doctors who had wronged her were now dying in brutal, methodical ways. Min Jun decided to confront Zhu Shoujian directly. When Min Jun met with her, Zhu Shoujian was cold and indifferent. She denied any involvement in the murders and insisted that she had no motive for revenge. But there was something unsettling about her demeanor. Min Jun noticed a familiar perfumed scent on her, scent that reminded him of a woman he had once met at a local butcher shop. The connection seemed odd, but it lingered in his mind. Min Jun's investigation soon took a bizarre turn. He learned that Zhu Shoujian was not the only person involved in this mystery. Xiao Hong, the woman who worked at the butcher shop and had been part of the Sin memory, had an uncanny skill with knives. Min Jun realized that her knife techniques were shockingly similar to the ones used in the murders. This connection was too close to ignore. Min Jun decided to visit the butcher shop once more, determined to get answers. When he confronted Xiao Hong, she remained unnervingly calm and collected. But as their conversation unfolded, Min Jun noticed something chilling: a scar on Xiao Hong's arm, identical to one Dr. Kim had. That was the turning point. Min Jun had found the missing piece of the puzzle. Xiao Hong was Zhu Shoujian's twin sister. Together, the two women had orchestrated a calculated revenge against the doctors who had wronged them 10 years ago. Zhu Shoujian had been assaulted by 3 doctors while in a coma, and her twin sister had helped plan the perfect revenge. The murders of the doctors were not random, they were a deliberate, cold-blooded act of retribution. As Min Jun pieced together the full story, he realized the depth of the sisters' plan. They had been patient, waiting for the right moment to strike. The murders were carefully designed to make the doctors pay for what they had done. But as the truth came out, Min Jun found himself torn. Over the course of his investigation, he had developed feelings for Xiao Hong. His emotions conflicted with his duty as a detective, and the lines between justice and personal feelings blurred. In the end, Min-jun chose to walk away. He submitted his resignation, leaving the case and the town behind. He couldn't live with the weight of what he had uncovered. But just when he thought he could escape, he returned to the butcher's shop only to find that Xiao Hong had disappeared without a trace. Her phone was off, and there was no sign of her anywhere. Min-jun realized that the revenge had already been completed. The doctors who had harmed the sisters were dead, and justice had been served. But the unresolved mystery as to Xiu Jian and Xiao Hong's twisted revenge would haunt him forever. He had been a mere observer in their meticulously planned revenge. With no answers, no closure, and no sense of peace, Min-jun left the town, carrying the emotional weight of the case with him. He couldn't escape the haunting memories of what had happened, and he knew that, no matter where he went, the pain of this case would never truly leave him. The mystery may have been solved, but the scars it left behind would remain forever.